On September 28, 2024, at exactly 11:47 p.m., Jennifer Gledhill made a phone call to police, a call that would change everything. She told police her husband, Matthew Johnson, was missing. To friends and neighbors, it looked like a wife desperate for answers, reaching out in fear. But what Jennifer said that night wasn't the start of a search. It was the beginning of a cover-up. Because behind her words lay a chilling truth. Matthew Johnson, a decorated Green Beret, husband and father of 3, wasn't missing at all. He was already dead. And the person accused of ending his life was his own wife. This is the case of Jennifer Gledhill, the Utah mother of 3 accused of killing her husband, Green Beret Matthew Johnson, and burying him in a shallow grave. A perfect family? To outsiders, Jennifer and Matthew seemed like the picture of success. They lived in a $1 million home in Cottonwood Heights, Utah. Matthew, 51, was a respected member of the Utah National Guard's 19th Special Forces Group, a Green Beret who had served with honor for more than a decade. His friends described him as brilliant, reliable, and the kind of soldier who always had the answer when others didn't. Jennifer, 42, was described by those who knew her as kind, a homebody, and a devoted mother. Together they raised 3 children, ages 11, 7, and 5. From the outside, they looked like the perfect family. But cracks were beginning to show, and behind closed doors, their marriage was unraveling. The downward spiral. Court records reveal that Jennifer and Matthew had been considering divorce since July of 2024. Their marriage was volatile, toxic, and deeply dysfunctional. In August, Jennifer even filed for a temporary protective order against Matthew. She claimed she needed protection from her husband. But when the case went before Commissioner Russell Minyas, the evidence told a different story. Jennifer had submitted videos, hoping they would prove Matthew was abusive. Instead, the commissioner concluded that Jennifer herself appeared unafraid, confrontational, and at times provoking her husband. Text messages showed her repeatedly berating and demeaning him, sometimes even seeming to goad him into a reaction. The judge dismissed the protective order on September 16th, writing words that now seem chillingly prophetic. The conduct of the parties is representative of a highly dysfunctional marriage, bringing out the worst in them. Divorce should have been filed long before reaching this state of affairs. What no one knew was that Jennifer had already made a decision that would ensure divorce proceedings would never be necessary. By September, Matthew's friends noticed something was wrong. He began spending more time at the National Guard facility, sleeping there instead of at home. He told them he didn't feel safe. What Matthew didn't fully realize was that Jennifer was living a double life. She had begun an affair, an intense relationship that consumed her. This wasn't a casual fling. It was a full-blown obsession, one that prosecutors say became the driving force behind everything that followed. On September 19th, just 2 days before the murder, Jennifer revealed something unsettling to her lover: a loaded Glock 19X pistol she kept in the home. At the time, it may have seemed like nothing unusual. Many military families own guns. But later, investigators would argue it was proof that Jennifer was already planning what was to come. The night of the murder. On the evening of September 20th, the fragile marriage finally collapsed. Matthew had discovered the truth about Jennifer's affair. According to Jennifer's own later statements, Matthew confronted her in anger, shouting about her betrayal. Neighbors would recall hearing raised voices, the sound of a heated argument echoing through the large house. But by the early hours of September 21st, the arguing stopped. Matthew Johnson went to sleep in the master bedroom, and as he lay there, unaware of the danger beside him, Jennifer made her move. Using Matthew's own 9mm handgun, Jennifer shot her husband in the head as he slept. The man who had served his country with honor, who had raised 3 children, and who had been loved by his community, was gone in an instant. According to prosecutors, she dragged Matthew's body into a rooftop storage container, slid it down the stairs, and loaded it into the back of the family minivan. She smashed his phone, drove his truck to a nearby neighborhood, and abandoned it there. Then she took Matthew's body north, burying him in a shallow grave at an unknown location. When she returned home, she began an extensive cleanup. She bleached the walls, she scrubbed the carpets, she ordered a brand new mattress to replace the one soaked in blood. It arrived just 2 days later. But despite her efforts, the scent of bleach lingered in the house, and faint brown stains remained on the walls, blinds, and bed frame. The perfect murder was already beginning to unravel. The chilling confession. Jennifer's most critical mistake wasn't the blood or the bleach or even the mattress. It was her lover. On September 22nd, just a day after the murder, Jennifer arrived at his home. And there, she told him everything. She described how she killed Matthew, how she dragged his body, how she buried him, and even how she got the bruises he could see on her body. Bruises from hauling her husband's corpse and scrubbing the house clean. Her lover was horrified. The woman he thought he knew revealed herself to be someone else entirely, a cold-blooded killer. He began secretly recording their phone calls, and what Jennifer said on those recordings would haunt investigators forever. When he expressed fear, Jennifer replied, "Wow, if you think I could even hurt a fly, he's not a person." He wasn't a person anymore. He wasn't Matt. She had dehumanized her husband, speaking of him as if he were nothing. In another chilling moment, she compared herself to the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, saying, "Off with their heads. If we could just round up the scum of the earth and kill them all, I could ship-shape this country back to a good place." She asked him not to think of her as a monster, but her own words painted a portrait darker than anyone could imagine. The missing person report. 6 days after the murder, Jennifer finally called police. She claimed Matthew had told her he'd be gone for a week and that she shouldn't try to reach him. She acted concerned, painting herself as the abandoned wife. But by then, the Utah National Guard had already launched a search. Matthew was a soldier. When he didn't show up for duty on September 23rd, alarms went off. Something was terribly wrong. What Jennifer didn't know was that her lover was already gathering evidence against her. Screenshots, text messages, recorded phone calls, all pointing to murder. On October 2nd, he went to police, and the case against Jennifer began to take shape. The investigation. When investigators searched the Johnson-Gledhill home, the story Jennifer told fell apart instantly. They found a large blood stain under the bed, blood on the blinds, the bed frame, and the walls. The house smelled strongly of bleach, and the mattress was brand new, ordered on September 24th, delivered just 2 days later. GPS data from Jennifer's phone placed her at the site where Matthew's truck had been abandoned. And more damningly, it showed her traveling north toward Davis County on the morning of September 21st, the exact time she told her lover she was burying Matthew's body. The evidence was overwhelming. The arrest. On October 2nd, 2024, Jennifer Gledhill was arrested. She was charged with first-degree murder, obstruction of justice, desecration of a human body, and witness tampering. But the case didn't stop with her. The parents' involvement investigators soon discovered that Jennifer's parents, Thomas and Rosalie Gledhill, had also played a role. The couple had spent over 5 hours at Jennifer's house during the cleanup, though they first claimed they'd only been there for less than an hour. Rosalie bought the replacement mattress and later had her phone wiped clean. Thomas, when questioned, slipped up, telling police,
"I did not go in where the incident happened."
His words revealed knowledge of a crime scene investigators hadn't even mentioned to him. A search of their home uncovered a Glock 19X gun box wrapped in a child's onesie, hidden inside a plastic tote. It matched the weapon Jennifer had shown her lover just days before the murder. The web of lies was collapsing. On October 24th, both Thomas and Rosalie were arrested and charged with obstruction of justice. One devastating truth remained. Matthew Johnson's body had still not been found. Search teams combed northern Utah, through Davis, Weber, and even Box Elder County near the Idaho border. His fellow Green Berets joined the hunt, desperate to bring their friend home. Months passed, leads dried up, and still no grave was discovered. At one point, investigators recovered a rooftop storage container floating in water, with Matthew's blood inside. It was the same type of container Jennifer admitted using to move his body, but Matthew himself was gone. To this day, he has not been found. The trial ahead. Jennifer has pleaded not guilty to all charges. She faces first-degree murder, 5 counts of obstruction of justice, possession of a controlled substance, desecration of a body, and tampering with a witness. Her trial is set for December 8, 2025, expected to last 8 days. Adding to the complexity is Matthew's $500,000 life insurance policy. With Jennifer as the beneficiary, the insurance company has asked the court to decide who should receive the money. But perhaps the most tragic element of all is the couple's 3 children, left without a father and with a mother behind bars. The prosecution's theory is simple but chilling. Jennifer killed her husband because he discovered her affair. Rather than face divorce, custody battles, and financial consequences, she chose murder. She believed she could erase Matthew Johnson from the world and move on. But in doing so, she destroyed not only her own life, but the lives of her children, her parents, and countless others who loved Matthew. As we await the trial, one haunting question remains. How does a mother of 3 justify such destruction for nothing more than an affair? Perhaps the answer lies in Jennifer's own chilling words to her lover. He wasn't a person anymore. He wasn't mad. For Jennifer, Matthew's humanity had already been erased. And for that, a family, a community, and a nation lost a soldier, a father, and a friend. Justice may come in court, but Matthew Johnson will never come home. If you found this case as haunting as I did, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Why do you think Jennifer chose this path? Was it desperation, selfishness, or something darker? And if you want to hear more true crime stories filled with twists, betrayals, and shocking confessions, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Because sadly, There are always more cases waiting to be told.